magical thief returns in Dishonored 2. I say thief because the game shares a lot with the old classic titled Thief, even if it isn't really that much of a step on from the previous release. So here we're looking at the PS4 and the PS4 Pro. This is my first contact analysis, so this is basically a quick look at the title and what it offers in terms of visuals and performance. So the first thing is the game is not finished. I'm not going to sugarcoat this. There's loads of bugs. It really feels as if it has a great premise but hasn't been delivered, and it feels very old. It feels like an old game. It plays like an old game. It plays like Dishonored. It plays like Thief, and that includes the clunky control system, the attack system, and the pretty shockingly poor AI.
You're not fit for the watch uniform.
Or apparently any self-preservation skills at all. And this is fundamentally the problem with the game. You're playing it and you really don't feel as if you've got a challenge with the AI other than the sheer amount of them and how quickly you can be killed. This includes being smacked through walls and obviously all the other bugs that the game has. You know, there's points where in the cutscenes the screen just went black. I could hear the dialogue but I can no longer see what was going on screen.
And over.
It's been an unusual day. There's a coup underway and I'm being blamed for the Crown Killer murders.
My name's Megan Foster.
Now I know sneaking around in the darkness and killing must be tiring and all. This is no point to nod off while you're being informed information. And these kind of rough, glitchy bugs around the edges happen too often in the game that I'm not going to delve into. Again, it just feels as if there's more time than it was needed and it didn't get the kind of care, love and attention that it deserved. That said, there are some nice benefits to the game. The texture work and the asset quality is very high indeed, and the overall art design is stunning, really stylish and very well delivered, with a world that feels very well constructed and believable. It's just a shame that it's wrapped up in gameplay and controls that feel so bad. When you die, you get a flashing cursor and screen texture that just keeps flickering up and down as you're sitting there waiting for it to reload. It does actually reload pretty quickly, which is a welcome benefit because you die quite regularly in the game and not always by your own fault. The thing about this is the control system, the lag on this game is really high. I would say it's into the 160, 200 milliseconds, and this hinders the control system in the game, making it very hard to line up shots and impacts because you can't lock onto enemies, and the view is so narrow on the FOV, it's hard to see where people are when they get very close to you, and they do that quite regularly. Now I don't normally delve into gameplay, but because the game is centered around that stealth and action style, it does actually affect it, and it is a technical issue. And if the team were in need of a helping hand, they could have just dived into the characters in the game. My God, those are the biggest hands I've ever seen. Edward Shovel hands.
Just you and your hand tonight. Midnight, I'm drunk.
And again, I'm sure he's a handy guy to know. Sorry. Like I say, visually it's a bit of a mixed bag. There's some nice asset and quality work in there for the textures and obviously the actual characters themselves. Animation is a bit wooden and clunky, lip syncing is very poor, some nice volumetric lights, and the post-processing suite is quite competent overall, with some nice effects in there from screen space reflections and obviously a camera-based radial blur that's depth aware, which does look quite nice when you're moving the camera around, and obviously the best benefit is the temporal AA solution, which does help clean up the image and the asset quality. Now what are the benefits for pro players? Well, they're not that massive. This is a 1080p game on the PS4 and it's identical on the PS4 Pro. That's right, even after 9 gig download you're still looking at a 1080 game upscaled back up to 4K or whatever you're running this game on, which means nothing really improves from the image quality or the assets. Shadows are the same, lighting is the same, animation is the same, and the same capped 30 rate is there. So does it really benefit at all from running on the PS4 Pro? Well, yes it does in performance. Now the big difference between the two is the fact that on the PS4 it runs an adaptive Vsync, allowing the top third to tear when it runs over budget, but it holds its 30 FPS tick rate or 30 Hz rate reasonably solidly throughout play. You can see some comparisons on the screen now, and the PS4 Pro is identical to that, but it doesn't appear from all my tests thus far to have any tearing at all, so Vsync is permanently locked in, which means you no longer get torn sections of the screen when it runs over budget. Now, does it mean it's a lock solid 30 on both? Sadly, no. There are points where it does dip, and it does dip heavily. Later on in this video you'll see it dipping down to lows of 18 on the PS4. and on the PS4 Pro down to lows of 24, 25. Yes, you're gaining around 5 FPS at the worst point. This game has been thrown out and pushed out the door. There's no real benefit on Pro. It literally has the base and bare bones update to a Pro version you could get. This is not going to happen for every single title, but it also means you're not going to get this kind of benefits you've already seen from Battlefield 1, Rise of the Tomb Raider, and obviously Final Fantasy 15 that I've covered recently. There's more Pro coverage to come, but this is not a standout title on the Pro at all. And this carries over to the texture work in the game, where you've got the slow loading mega textures, even though this is the Void engine, which is a splintered version of id Tech 5, not exactly id Tech 6 that powered Doom, but this is a version that's been splintered off and forked off from that development cycle, and therefore it shares some of the same benefits. Unfortunately, it doesn't target a 60Hz rate, and it delivers visuals that are, even though very stylish and well delivered, they're not going to set anyone's heart aflutter, and that is a shame for a title that has so much benefit here to offer. And like I say, a gameplay style and world that would work. It's sad that it's let down by performance issues, which do get worse further on in the game, and obviously bugs and issues that I've just covered, and many more that I can't, that just really let the game down. The controls are slow, the lag is slow, the frame rate is poor on both versions, and the PS4 Pro is barely used here. You've literally got a game that's running around 5 FPS faster at the same resolution and visual quality settings. I don't even know how they've not managed to keep a locked 30 on here. I can only assume that the issues are related to CPU only and got absolutely nothing to do with the GPU. But then again, there's so many bugs and issues in this game, there's so many things that could be wrong with it, I'm not even going to try and second guess. Anyway, that's me done. It's a first contact. I hope I covered enough for you. If you enjoyed this or anything else that I've put together, then please think about subscribing and supporting the channel. I appreciate each and every one of you that does, and it really helps me immensely. Leave all your thoughts and feedback below, and I'll catch you very soon on the next one.
Have a watchtower there. Go inland and use the carriage station. Before his death, the old Duke of Serkono spent decades building up Karnaca. After Duke Luca Abel took over, he started draining the wealth out of the city as fast as he could. Orgies and week-long feasts.
I remember the old Duke Theodanis. He was a good man.
Watch yourself on the way to Adamire. The Duke's given the Grand Guard run of the city. Strangers get attacked on sight.
I can take care of myself.
This is a good spot. Reach Adamire, take out the Crown Killer, and find out where Sokolov was taken. The alchemist, Hypatia. She'll help if she can. Sokolov likes her.
I'll see you later at Addermire. Just wait to bring up the boat until after I've disabled the watchtower.